5-1 to the good over the Atlanta Braves, and we know the historical impact of the game, first time since 1901 that he had two teams riding a 9-game winning streak, meeting in the course of the regular season. It's been a while. Braves hot as a firecracker, Yankees obviously hot as a firecracker, and the Yankees come out victorious. And a lot of heroes last night, whether it be Loaisiga, Peralta, you look at Chapman closing the game out, Montgomery gave him a solid start. But Gallo defensively, Velasquez defensively at shortstop as well. I mean, it is amazing the way that this team is playing right now. But I think you got to give a lot of love to Giancarlo Stanton, who, poked fun at the fact that he couldn't play the outfield, wouldn't play the outfield. We had conversations about him demanding it, whether he could, whether he couldn't. Finally has, played and rounded back into playing the outfield once again, has done it for a period of time here. And he said playing the outfield has helped him with his plate appearances. And you look at the month of August, he's hitting .324. Month of August, he's got 5 or 6 home runs. He's got nearly 20 RBIs on the month. He's only had 5 games this entire month where he's gone hitless. Think about that with Stanton. He is playing on the regular as well, playing in the NL ballpark last night. And Stanton, a guy that has been absolutely torn apart in this city. Mm-hmm. An albatross of a contract. We've talked about it. The limitations when he was just singularly a DH. Some of the leadership concerns you've had about Stan at times as well. Well, give Giancarlo a lot of credit right now because he is tearing the cover off the baseball. He's moved into that play in the outfield very, very well, whether it be left field or right field for Aaron Judge. And Boone has talked to, and for Aaron Boone, and Boone has talked about that. It's been a seamless transition. Stan deserves a lot of love here for the job that he has done. I think he's getting a lot of love because of the timing of it. This is not a case of him hitting home runs and the ARodian home runs where it's, a 5-1 game and he hits a 3-run home run to make it an 8-1 game. He's had meaningful, impactful hits. And when this team is playing their best baseball, and that is what they've done over the last 5-6 weeks, they have been the hottest team in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. Stan is playing his best baseball as well, and I think that's where the correlation comes into play, where Stan deserves some of the love.
Well, sure, he definitely does. I just wonder if Yankee fans are willing to jump back in with both feet if they ever were in love with Giancarlo Stanton, or do you think this is just a hot streak? Because we've seen him go on hot streaks before. Hell, we saw him do it in the postseason. It's just he was on a hot streak hitting home runs, and the Yankees were losing, so nobody was really caring too much, and he wasn't getting so much love there. You mentioned ARodian home runs, and I just will take it a step further. Like, is Giancarlo Stanton the new ARod? And what I mean by that is Yankee fans are never truly going to love him until they win a World Series with him and him being great. For as awesome as this August has been, for as, incredible as these home runs are and the exit velo and, Aaron Boone last night calling him a unicorn, which is, don't you feel like in sports, do we have too many unicorns now?
A lot of unicorns.
We got a lot of unicorns. Tatis is a unicorn. Ohtani's a unicorn. Hell, Kevin Durant was called Kristaps Porzingis a unicorn. We've got too many unicorns.
Porzingis is no longer a unicorn.
Well, he's back just to being a regular old horse with a crown. Whatever that. What is that thing? The
horn?
The horn, yeah.
Yes.
He's a regular old guy now.
He's a regular horse with a crown.
He's a regular horse with a crown. Yes. Have that as your image.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe we need to chill on unicorn for a second. But A-Roddy in that sense, right? Are you ever truly going to love him? And listen, I don't know how much love there is for A-Rod now because of everything that happened after 2009, but it took until then, until Yankee fans truly began to love him. And now this is great. This is what you want to see from Stanton. And, the fact that, knock on wood, he's been able to stay healthy, that he's been this effective. It's not that surprising to me that playing in the outfield has led to better outcomes for him at the plate. We've seen that a lot with guys who were playing every day and then have to go into a DH role, and they just have too much time to either think about their at-bats, especially when they're struggling, and you don't have anything else to sort of keep you engaged in the game. It's not that shocking, but if the Yankees can keep him healthy the rest of the way, it's just I don't know if Yankee fans are ready to dive in with the love, and to dive in. And you can appreciate what you're seeing. You can appreciate the guy and appreciate the versatility of this lineup now with him playing the outfield. There's just never been love for Stanton. It's hard for me to believe that one hot streak is going to all of a sudden translate into, oh my goodness, this was the best trade the Yankees could have made. I think there's still a lot of regret from Yankee fans on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of that can be true, right? And you could still enjoy the moment and what you're watching right now, right? You could still regret the deal. You could still regret the contract, but you look at what the player, because I think we've seen, you see more warts to the game of Giancarlo Stanton when you've watched him on a day in, day out basis. We've joked around about it, quality pitching, how to attack Stanton, throwing the slider, and the swings and misses, and some of the feeble at bats, and the lack of battling. But when he gets rolling, I mean, the home run he hit last night down in Atlanta, on the pitch low and away, to be able to extend that arms and basically launch it over the seats in right field, is a thing of beauty. There's not many major league players that can be able to do what Giancarlo Stanton did last night. So you want to call him a unicorn, a rarity, whatever it might be. When he gets going, Maggie, you see why he won the MVP for the Marlins in the National League, right? You see why he was a guy that, teams were frothing at the mouth in order to try and acquire at one point in time before he signed that contract with the Marlins. And then after it, obviously he controlled it, goes to the Yankees. The Marlins and Jeter made the Yankees an offer that they could not refuse. And, we've dealt with it here and talked a lot about Giancarlo Stanton, the boos at Yankee Stadium. But right now he deserves some love. Whether this is going to last, whether you wholeheartedly believe whether he needs that kind of 2009 ARod World Series type of run in order to truly be a, quote unquote Yankee or fall into the good graces of the Yankee fans forever, Maggie. Right now he deserves some love because he's been that good. He's played a good outfield. He has stayed healthy. He has been productive up at the plate. He's had meaningful at-bats and meaningful hits and meaningful home runs. Hell, I mean, you go back to that, that game in Iowa, in the Field of Dreams game, Stanton hitting that home run deep into the night, into the cornfield to give the Yankees a one-run lead before Britton implodes and the White Sox end up walking off the Yankees. But, he capped it off with yet another 2-run home run in that top half of the ninth inning after Judge went deep. So, you've seen I'm not telling you that I love Stanton as a player. I don't. I think there's too many weak and feeble at-bats, but this month he's been unbelievable. And I think you got to give the man some props when he's playing this well and hitting this well. And when he's playing the outfield and he stayed healthy and the messaging after the game has been on point, Stan deserves some love from the Yankee fans.
He definitely does, and he's getting it, and it's deservedly so. The thing is with Stanton, though, it's never like one thing with him. Because with these new Yankees, with this Yankee, not these new Yankees like the 2021 Yankees, I'm talking about with House Steinbrenner and sort of what the Yankees have been over these last few years, money always plays into it. Money will be a factor. And so with Stanton, because of the contract, it will never just be one thing. It will never just be enjoy it now because you got 7 more years and $180 more million with him. So it's never just one thing. You can totally enjoy it now. And he's helped, but it's been a total team effort right now. And beyond Stanton, another thing that I don't think is getting nearly enough credit because, at times I think we've taken it as, for granted, or we've had a lot of questions about the bullpen, especially the back end at times. The pitching has been excellent. I mean, the pitching has been excellent. We saw this in May when the Yankees went on their hot streak in May. Now we're seeing it here in August. The pitching is leading the way. I mean, we'll talk about Stanton. He deserves it. We'll talk about the versatility of the lineup and how aggressive they're being and all of that. But really, the pitching is leading the way. And Jordan Montgomery did not have good stuff last night. And he was able to battle the middle part of that bullpen. I mean, Loizaga has just been a revelation this year. Peralta, I mean, anyone who's still a Mike Tauchman fan, I mean, that was the right move for the Yankees to make. And, Chapman throwing the splitter last night, which was great. I mean, it was a 5-1 game, but he's throwing that splitter, which I think means that his confidence is coming back despite what happened in Boston, his last outing where he has to get pulled off the mound after giving up the home run. But him just throwing the splitter, I think, was a big, big step in the right direction. We cannot overlook the pitching and how good it's been.
No, it's been fantastic. Tyone, Cole,
I mean, Heaney's coming off his best outing. Who knows what's going to happen tonight? But.
Yeah, Montgomery, I mean, to the point where Heal's making his next start on AAA, right? And he's been really good when getting the opportunity here on the major league level. And Montgomery last night wasn't great. Loizaga was brilliant. And he has been, but Montgomery battled, as you mentioned. I think that's the right term. He didn't have his great stuff, but he's
done that a lot this year.
Yes, and he's been put in. I mean, how many times have we talked about Jordan Montgomery being put in a tough spot? Yankees riding a losing streak. Here's Jordan Montgomery. Yankees desperate need to win a game in the series. Here's Jordan Montgomery.
He was just pulling the short straw all the
time. It felt like every single time this year, it was Jordan Montgomery that was on the mound for the Yankees, and last night he was good enough, and the bullpen was great. And Loizaga is an absolute weapon. You know, we were having the conversation yesterday, and you asked me the question about, Chapman and Britton, and, do you trust, do you believe? And you saw Aroldis in the mound, but after we got off the air, we get off the air yesterday, Zach Britton goes off the IL, goes on the IL for the third time this year, dealing with an elbow issue and an elbow strain. He has not been particularly good. We know that. And Loaisiga, it just puts more importance on what Johnny Loaisiga is for this team. And last night he was great with his 2 innings of work and has been an absolute weapon for Aaron Boone and company out of that bullpen. And his importance with the Britton news, and even with the lack of trust in Britton this year, the importance of of Loaisiga here is going to be, tenfold here moving forward, especially with some of the concerns you have about others. The moment does not look too big for Loaisiga, and the stuff does translate.
No, it kind of feels like, doesn't it, that they're kind of maybe grooming him for life after Aroldis Chapman, who I know just got a contract last year, but I think it's only a 2-year deal, right? And so maybe, like, for Zach Britton, unfortunately, this just feels like a lost season for him. He's just never been able to get healthy.
Never.
Then he had issues with confidence. I don't know what Zach Britton is going to be for this team come the postseason, if he's going to pitch in the postseason. But it's a shame because obviously the guy's got excellent stuff. He was always that sort of insurance policy for Chapman, but now it's Loaisiga as the insurance policy for Chapman. And I could see Loaisiga being the closer for this team once they move on from Aroldis Chapman. I believe he's got 2 more years left on his deal.
Yeah, you could see that. I mean, you could see that. And he's been a weapon. And you trust him a little bit more than you do trust Chad Green in those big-time spots. And, I think overall it's – I don't know how many times you could say it, when you watch this team now as compared to what they were for the first 3 months. But, there is so much now more flexibility in that lineup. Like we were talking about Stanton to kick it off, right? And the love-hate relationship that Yankee fans have with Giancarlo Stanton, right? And it doesn't make the contract still an absurdity, right, for the player that he is, right? 7 years, $180 million that he's owed after this season. And, would the Yankees go back and make that trade? Probably not, right? I mean, if they had there is probably a little bit of buyer's remorse because you've got kind of 2 of the same type of players. However, with Stanton now having the ability to play the outfield, Maggie, it just opens up so much more.
But it's just team. Like, for how long?
I understand that, but I'm going to take it for the now.
Of course.
I'm going to take it for the now. And I think as long as he stays healthy, and knock on wood or whatever this is in front of us or whatever this desk is made up of.
What is this, Formica?
Probably, something like that. I doubt it's natural wood. That would probably it's a processed wood or something like that. But anyway,
that's
or
fine.
A plastic or anything like that. But as long as he can continue to play the outfield, you have now the ability to open up that DH spot with Voit being what he has been, right? Rizzo's cooled off a little bit. He took an 0 for last night down in Atlanta, but we know how good defensively he is at first base. Gallo, you have so many ways that you can maneuver this lineup if you're Aaron Boone, just by that one guy having the ability to play the outfield and stand. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, it's going to be about keeping them healthy. I mean, we know they overhauled the whole sports science thing. The fact that Judge is playing center is kind of getting lost in this. But you saw him covering a lot of ground last night to make an excellent catch in right center.
How about the catch by Gallo?
Well, that was a full layout. I mean, that's just a thing of beauty.
It was awesome.
That is, I don't think Clint Frazier's making that catch. I don't think Miguel Andujar is making that catch. The other
Probably
left
not.
Fielders. But like, the fact that you have what they call it, the jumbo package is in the outfield, you can do that. And also what helps is when you have these leads late in games, you can afford to get these guys off the field when you need to. So that's also been a luxury for Aaron Boone, right? You don't have to have Giancarlo Stanton isn't playing 9 innings out there. He's playing like 5 or 6. And then you're able to go to your defensive sort of lineup and ride it out there. It's, it's all kind of coming up Yankees right now. And with Giancarlo Stanton, I just wonder, are Yankee fans all back in? Are you all in now? Because this has been one of the most controversial trades and one of the most controversial players, not for anything he's done off the field or any personal stuff, just purely from a baseball standpoint. He has been one of the most controversial players of Brian Cashman's, tenure as GM.
Yeah, I mean, right behind Alex Rodriguez. I mean,
is he the new ARod?
No, yeah. I mean, ARod, there's so much more to ARod.
Well, ARod's got all the BS, too. This is just a baseball and money thing.
It's hard to compare anyone to ARod because of all that BS.
But we're smart enough. You know what I'm talking about.
When you look at, no, I understand what you're talking about, but there's so much that comes with Alex Rodriguez that's not just about baseball. that played into how you thought
Put
about
yourself
Alex
in a
Rodriguez,
time
the player.
machine and go back to 2008 versus 2009. And that's kind of what I'm thinking of how you felt. And it was even before that. Aroldis Chapman, thank you so much, Andrew Kaplan, telling me that he got the 1-year extension, and Chicken Parmalu, 1-year extension for 2022. Then he's an unrestricted free agent, but he does have that no trade clause.
Right. He's got one more year on top of this year.
So I think that works, though, because I think you can, pitch again next year as your closer, and then Loizaga can take over.
Yeah. I mean, that could be part of the plan. They could add 5 other different relievers by that point in time.
They are the Yankees.
That's exactly right. But if you missed it last night, let's hear Sterling's call, the Stanton home run to right.
The 2-2 is hit in the air down the right field line, headed toward the wall, and she is gone. Right next to the pole, down the right field line. A Stantonian home run. There's Giancarlo. No si può stopparlo. He homers to right, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
It was an impressive home run.
Well, it's just
the
kind
sheer
of flick
power.
the wrist a little bit. It's just like the funny thing is, even Sterling's call maligned at the beginning. Nobody liked the Sterling call. Because remember, we had John on. We talked about it, about how he came up with it. And now with Giancarlo Stanton playing the way he's playing, love the call.
Yeah, I just love
everything.
I love the extension of the hands and the bat and be able to go get it and drive that ball out to right field. There's not many guys that can go out there and do it. When he's hot, it's impressive to watch. It really is. Moose and Maggie with you, 877-337-6666.